This is the Nightshade Cult, a podcast macabre.
We bid you welcome. Enter freely and of your own will.
I'm Nick Grimm.
And I'm David Graves.
And we will be your horror hosts for this dissection of Andrew Fleming's 1996 supernatural teen horror, The Craft.
It is better that you should rush upon this blade than enter this circle with fear in your heart. How do you enter?
God, what is she...
It's with perfect love and perfect trust.
Oh, I'm sorry. I failed my sisters.
It's okay. This was a pop quiz. Yeah,
I didn't know this was coming. I would have studied. Yeah, so
it's a school movie, so
yeah, it's on theme. When we started this podcast, the Nightshade Cult, we kind of put a call out to the cultists about like what were the Gen X, elder millennial, touchstone goth horror movies, and this was one that many people suggested.
Yeah, I think this one was on almost everybody's lips. The only one that I think kind of had more support was like Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, Dracula, The Crow. There was this. It was definitely like top three though. Like it was up there, or maybe 7 was on the list, which we've. So this was kind of, at least in my recollection, is the last of the things that people suggested in mass that we're just getting to, because it is the 30th anniversary of this movie.
Yeah, totally caught me by surprise. I mean, I didn't realize it was made in 96, I guess. Because when I look at the year, I'm like, oh man, that was a long time ago. I was in high school. And then I think about it and time flies.
Yeah.
Just blink and you're old.
Because this is the 30th anniversary of this film. This means this is my 30-year high school anniversary for graduation of high school also.
Do you go to those things? Is that a thing?
I have never been to one of those things.
Yeah.
There's certain friends of mine from school that I get together with periodically.
Yeah.
And there's a number of high school reunions that I have every year or so, but never been to the official party. No.
Yeah, no, that's not my thing either. The budget for this movie was $15 million, and it made 55 at the box office, with about 7 on opening weekend. So pretty solid.
Yeah, pretty good.
But it's gone on to be extremely successful when it came out on VHS and DVD.
This
is a cult classic.
For sure, it is one of the, if not first, but one of the very early waves of DVDs. Mm-hmm. You and I worked at a department store that sold DVDs, kind of got in that business early on, and this was one of that first batch of DVDs we got.
I absolutely remember it. The cover sticks out in my mind from those early days at the job.
It's iconic. It's an iconic cover. It's and I think you will find the poster for The Craft on the walls of alienated young girls to this day. Like, this movie has stayed in relevance. Yeah,
I think it's interesting when you watch it from the perspective of, we were the kind of, aside from being guys, we were the demo for this movie back in the day, kind of alternative kids of the proper age.
Yeah.
And so seeing it brings out a lot of, like, I don't know, memories and vibes that are positive in nature.
Yeah.
But I think if you were a middle-aged dude or a movie critic when this came out, it probably got written off. I think the reviews overall were mixed based on the reviewer more so than the film.
Oh, probably. You're always going to be, like, as a 50-year-old guy, out of touch with what the kids are into.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And, for me, being age appropriate to the movie, I didn't think this movie was very cool at the time. I kind of thought it was posery. Watching it now, it is much more nostalgic for me than it was in the moment where I'm watching it and I was like, this kind of lame, like, too cool for it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching this and thinking, like, who doesn't like goth girls? Like, that's kind of, that's always a positive thing. But I was like, the witchcraft, the made up god, but whatever.
the witchcraft is more right than wrong.
Yeah, it's they brought in a consultant. They had someone out there, so they did it mostly right.
But true, that is a big part of what my problem then and what problems I have with the movie now. I was hanging out with teenage witches at the time when this movie came out, and there was things about this that struck me wrong even then. And they haven't gotten any better.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the book that I had, but I was friends with a gal who was a witchy sort, and she recommended a book, and I bought it at Barnes and Noble, and I read it, and so I was reading one book doesn't make you an expert, but it makes you informed.
Yeah. And if you've read 2 or 3, you're becoming an enthusiastic amateur.
Yeah, I just wanted to impress that one girl.
Yeah.
Like young men do.
It is worth it. You learn about the equinoxes and moon water and just all that different stuff.
Well, and absolutely, it's worth reading a book to impress someone, because even if that doesn't work out, you still read a book.
Yeah, you got some knowledge.
Yes.
For sure.
It's better than trying to do something stupid,
heroic feats,
no.
Jumping off of tall cliffs or bridges.
Skip all that.
Or Porque no los dos. You could read a book and jump off a bridge. That's going to impress the lady.
If I could have hung upside down from a bridge while reading the book, my name is already David.
Yeah, I'm doing this. I'm going to do, there is a lot of Lost Boys in this movie.
Absolutely.
Since you brought that up, yes. Do a Lost Boys and a craft simultaneously.
Those go in the same mental category for me. Whereas they're fun and they have their spooky moments, but they're also a lot of camp.
Yeah.
And some humor and some cheesiness that goes along with it. But I don't really think that's a bad thing.
No, not at all. And this completely, you can set this next to the Lost Boys. Mm-hmm. They're sort of mirrors to each other. That's the Lost Boys.
Bunch of guys, bunch of girls.
Version of this. Yeah. Should we roll the music and get into the dissection? When a troubled young woman moves to Los Angeles, she is quickly recruited into a coven of witches at her Catholic school. Unfortunately, as they grow in power, the coven begins to turn on her.
Yeah, this movie is, since we're in our storytelling section, it is plot light.
It is plot light. And honestly, it feels like it is missing transitionary scenes at times.
Oh, yeah. The editing was weird.
Yeah, because we go from the first time the girls kind of all get together and after school and hang out, immediately to Sarah on the roof with Skeet, and it was and with nothing in between. There's no the next day at school. There's just not anything to explain the passage of time. It's almost like she ran directly from the hill over to the rooftop of the rec center.
Yeah, I recently read a book that this really reminded me of that. The way the storytelling would go, you'd be like, it's not like one of those ones where you're linear, you're tracking the time with the character. It's more like, and then a moment happened. Okay, now another moment. They're linear, but there's no connective tissue.
Yeah.
And that is a choice in storytelling, but it's hard to follow in a movie.
It feels a little jarring. Yeah, hard to follow or just disorienting. It just doesn't feel natural without that, something to show that it's another day.
Yeah,
you know this. You've seen movies before. We understand time passes, but it just feels weird the way the scenes are joined together. So we should mention this is directed by Andrew Fleming from a screenplay by Peter Filardi with also contributions by Andrew Fleming. And then we mentioned earlier, they have a witchcraft consultant by the name of Pat Devin. and she is a Dianic elder priestess and a member of the Coven of Ashesh Hekat, as well as the public information officer of the Covenant of the Goddess, Southern California Local Council.
Oh,
yeah, so she's got credentials. Yes, there's a witches union.
Yeah. Respect.
Yeah, it makes me have more confidence in witches that there is a governing guild or something that they have to be a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me feel like there's some sort of regulatory body involved in this.
Yeah, it's just as valid as any other faith-based organization.
Exactly.
More valid than most, I would say.
Probably. I would trust witches with my kids before priests.
Absolutely.
And
Jesus.
That's just my feeling about that.
Oh, yeah.
You literally never hear of witches molesting children.
Oh, God.
I mean, except for in Grimm's fairy tales, but I don't trust those Grimm brothers.
Yeah, those guys had an agenda. Yeah, this movie, it kind of like, it starts off and it makes me think like, oh, okay, it's going to be like, I don't know, like Heathers or babies,
yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of makes me feel like it's going to be like almost like a black comedy, but with witches in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's been long enough that since I've seen this movie, since I saw it, I didn't know at all the plot. All I had was just some, I guess, still frames in my mind.
Yes.
Some spooky girls on a beach in a storm.
Yeah.
Some like a magic shop, which pays off. That's a cool ass magic shop.
Yeah. A little bit of a fire hazard. I would think the fire marshal have questions about all the candles.
I'm a sucker for an occult shop. I'll go into them. Yeah. I love it. I just had images in my mind. I didn't, my memory is garbage.
I literally, until I started watching the movie, I was convinced that I had never seen this movie, and that I just sort of knew the pop culture touchstones of it. We Are the Weirdos, Mister, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then the movie starts, and I go, "Oh, I have seen this movie." Like it was like I had to get into it and see like the first couple scenes and kind of be like, no, I've definitely watched this movie before.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like not to get to like review level yet, but I feel like it started super strong. Like in the way that I was with the character. I really liked how they introduced all of her coven. Mm-hmm. I like how they introduced their kind of rivals and problems.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, it almost feels like the writing kind of lost control. Like the weight of the film had momentum that didn't really care about the script.
Yeah, and I see what you mean about that. And it definitely, the parts I enjoy of the movie are more front-loaded. They're more the front two-thirds. Mm-hmm. Even though, like, the fun horror stuff all happens in that final act.
Yeah.
I feel like the final act betrays the first two acts in some ways, in the way the characters behave, mm-hmm. and as it just sort of... I don't feel like anyone is particularly true to themselves in the final act of the movie, except for maybe Sarah. Everyone else sort of like they don't, to me, justify how evil, or not, evil's not the right word, but how completely selfish Bonnie and Rochelle, how completely selfish they are. Because even by the end of the movie, they're not contrite or anything when they go to apologize, quote unquote, to Sarah at the end. They're really just going to check if she still has powers.
Yeah. They're like, do you have magic? No.
Yeah. And then, 30 minutes ago, these girls are like
trying to murder her.
Well, yes. And then before that, fully like in sisterhood, in love with each other, like in
sleepovers, the whole deal.
Yeah, in not fraternal. What's the
platonic
sororital love with each other?
Yeah.
They are in sisterhood. They shared blood with each other.
Yeah,
and then it's just like they're just shitty. After once they start getting what they want, they go too shitty, like what to me feels like an unrealistic level of shittiness.
Well, I think those two characters, Bonnie and Rochelle, are weirdly served because they're, like, if you haven't seen this movie, you should, but basically each of the four witches wants power basically to get revenge or something along that line.
Well, Bonnie just wants her scars to heal.
Yeah,
right?
And so Bonnie gets her scars to heal. That's where I was going with it.
Yeah,
the power that she wants leads to vanity, and she does become kind of vain and kind of shitty, but also it's not unrealistic. Yeah. And it wasn't over the top. It was just kind of like, oh, she's like living it up because she's never been able to, and I sort of get it.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't think she has anything to apologize for with regards to her use of magic. It wasn't really that big of a deal. It was just kind of a healing thing. And then, like, the other gal, Rochelle,
wants revenge on her racist bully.
She has the racist bully goes bald. Okay, she's not dead. She's not, like, maimed. I mean, and presumably, like, maybe the hair will grow back. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But completely, utterly racist bully goes bald.
Bad Jan Brady.
I'm not going to call that a big deal. Yes, that's kind of an okay use of magic. It's tit for tat. It's on the level, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Nancy does some killing. She kind of goes over the top, but she was always coded as, like, the bad girl.
Yeah.
But I do think that the two less prominent witches, Bonnie and Rochelle,
the ones that don't have last names,
they are not that. I have no problem with what they did.
No, I know. It's like, well, that's the thing, because, Sarah hits them with everything you did is going to be revisited on you threefold or whatever, right? And so when they see themselves in the mirror with their comeuppance, Bonnie sees herself with worse burn scars than she had before. Now they cover her face and everything.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, she didn't get triple healing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you get the negative effect, but she didn't ask for a negative thing. Her spell very specifically was to be as beautiful on the outside as she was on the inside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems pretty pure.
That's very benign magic. That's, like if you're...
Yeah, because if you're a shitbird on the inside, well, it's going to show.
And Rochelle's her spell was like the ability to love the people that hate her or whatever. Like, it wasn't even like... She didn't even ask for, like, to punish her enemies or something like that. It manifested that way. Her enemy was affected that way.
And it caused her to feel sympathy for her enemy. So her spell happened, but in a roundabout way.
Yeah. So it's like, those two girls, up until the point that they're trying to get Nancy or Sarah to kill herself.
Yeah, when they
trigger warning. There's a lot of talk of
there's a lot of, like, self-harm and stuff in this movie. When they go along with when they let Nancy kind of bully them into trying to kill their friend, then I'm against them. But up until that point, I just think they're totally fine.
Which is what I wanted to see at the end. Like when they come and they say, like, we didn't mean for this to go that far. But then they get shitty, like, kind of immediately afterwards. Like, she probably doesn't have any powers. And they start whispering to each other and get catty about it. Like, I just want... It just does not feel true to the girls we meet at the beginning of the film. In a way, like, I know that people change and power corrupts and blah, blah, blah. But it feels beyond. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were done dirty. And I don't think that I don't know. I won't bend on that one.
Yeah.
They didn't deserve to be characterized that way in the end if you're basing it on the portrayals in the beginning.
Yeah, that's just how I feel about it. And honestly, I even feel bad for Nancy, who goes over the edge, but, like...
She's like an abused kid.
Oh, yeah. She has a lot of trauma, and that doesn't excuse anything that she does, but, like... She lashes, hurt people. It's a cliche, but it is also true.
It's not that you forgive it; it's that you understand it.
Yeah, and the ending that she gets, where she's, tied up in Arkham Asylum or whatever. Yeah. It's like it feels almost extreme for what happened too.
Yeah.
So
she went mad. I think the final, basically from the climax to the denouement, the writing was a fail.
Yeah. And so you have to wonder, is that a failure that's in the script? Is it a failure in taking studio notes and punching up the ending to make it more of like an effect spectacular? Because there's lots of cool stuff. There's early digital effects and morphing and things like that going on, and cool, very well executed green screen effects. Like, was this just like, do more, make this ending bigger and badder and scarier and all of that, or is this in Fleming's script from the start?
Yeah, you have to wonder. I think that I guess the last thing I say about the writing is that it seems like the script was probably pretty good.
Yeah.
And then they shied away from having it be a character-based movie.
Yeah.
And tried to make it a horror/effects-based ending.
Yeah.
But you can't build a character-based story and then stop caring about the characters.
Yeah.
The nuance of the characters is everything in this story.
And like, to use the two movies that we've referenced so far, the first 2/3 are Heathers, and then the climax is Lost Boys.
Yeah.
And that just feels out of whack with the movie that you have been watching. Not even that it is bad, but just discordant.
And there was no sax man.
Yes,
to make it worth it.
There was no sax man. So I want to mention, while we're talking storytelling, there is a deleted scene in this movie that I've found out about that feels crucial to some of my issues with it. And that is when Sarah goes to the magic shop and the Elder Witch takes her in the back. That scene feels very truncated.
Yeah, it feels almost like grafted in. Yeah. But if it's the opposite, that it was bigger and they cut it, then I could see that.
Because there is an even Elder Witch.
Oh, snap.
That
Maiden, Mother, and Crone.
Yes, exactly. Like, that cutting that character out. Because I listened to a podcast that the SFX daughters, or the special effects artist's daughter, does a podcast where she talks with her dad about movies that he worked on.
Oh, that's cool.
And so they were talking about the effects, and he was talking about the old age makeup on the sort of grandmother witch, that's the mother of the coven or whatever. And that scene feels so crucial, and its missing does harm the movie, because it's like she goes in the back room and Sarah starts to get this wisdom from the lady that runs the store, and then there's a big imaginary fireball and she runs out, and you're like, what was the point of that? And it's like, well, there's a whole thing about the sort of nature of witchcraft.
So for the 30th anniversary, we need a director's cut.
Yeah, and this, as far as I know, this is a lost scene. There's still images, but it is not online or anything where you can find that actual scene. You can see pictures of the lady in the old age makeup, but the actual footage is nowhere to be found, unless some of the cultists out there can clue us in on a video or something.
Yeah, that would be rad. Yeah, so I guess the last thing on the Wiccan stuff, you talked about Pat Devin, their authenticity consultant, and I sort of criticized the fact that they had a made up god, Mammon.
I've got a lot of problems with Manon.
And I guess this was intentional because they didn't want fans of the movie or even the actresses in the movie to be invoking anything real.
Yes.
They wanted the invocations that they do, like all of the, the watchtowers and whatnot, to feel authentic, but they didn't want them to actually cast real spells. They wanted it to be something that you could just say, you could chant these things and nothing would happen.
Yeah, I saw the interview with Pat Devin where she sort of explained her rationale on the rituals, and I appreciate that very much. That these are things that, because she knows teenage girls are going to copy this, and she invented rituals that would be unharmful, essentially benign, and I really appreciate that. But Manon bothers me so much because this is such a matrilineal, goddess-focused practice, right?
Yeah.
And their ultimate deity is masculine, which there are masculine deities in witchcraft, but not central ones, right?
Yeah.
And the language is so... She's like, oh, come inside me, Manon. And, like, it's sort of quasi-sexual and uncomfortable and just feels untrue to the practice.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a weird, more than a little bit. It was a very weird decision to do that. I think it would have been better if they had, I don't know, it doesn't have to be a god that they're invoking. It just, I don't know, like spirits
or
and
something.
Anything. Yeah. The moon, whatever.
Yes, I know. It just, it's one of those things that if you type out in the Google search bar, Manon, is Manon from the craft real? You know what I mean? Like that's the question that it fills out for you. So a lot of people are like, this seems fake. What's going on here?
I would say that Manon is just as real as any other deity.
Fair enough. But feels wrong to what these girls are all about.
I agree.
We've mentioned Lost Boys, Heathers. There's multiple Clockwork Orange homages in it. All the sort of like the gang, the girl droogs walking in slow motion towards the camera.
I can see that.
A lot of the stuff where they're driving in the car is very much framed like Kubrick's Clockwork Orange. There's enough Clockwork Orange references in it that it can't be an accident.
I'm sure
it
that
has to be on purpose.
It was the 90s. I'm sure Fleming was a big fan of Kubrick because it was the 90s. Yeah. Everyone loved that shit.
And we haven't the four girls represent the four elements.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned that Sarah is earth because she's the most grounded. Nancy is fire because she's consumed by power. Bonnie is air. I see it symbolized with the butterflies, and Rochelle, the high diver, of course, represents water.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool. There were good bones here.
Oh yeah, there is a lot of thought goes into all of this, and Peter Filardi researched heavily. Like his screenplay is well researched and well considered.
Nice. You want to move on to visuals?
Let's move on to visuals.
Right.
The cinematography is by Alexander Gruzinski. Production design by Marek Dobrowski. A lot of Polish people. And costume design by Deborah Everton. And makeup effects supervisor Tony Gardner. He's the one that does the podcast with his daughter.
Oh, nice.
Visually excellent looking movie. Like, it looks awesome.
I really liked it. He basically went with kind of a polished vibe. Yeah. This was like a made for the MTV generation.
Oh, for sure.
Look, and it looked awesome. Everything about this was just shot pristinely. It was a beautiful movie. And I liked their use of like creepy crawlers, like insects and spiders and snakes and stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was something like like 1,000 and some odd snakes for some of those sequences, which is excessive. I would be very worried about stepping on them. Like, I'm not worried about getting bit by a movie snake, but I don't want to harm anything.
Yeah, that's that's against the craft.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like all of that stuff has really affected the special effects and the visual effects are both very well executed and blend well with each other. Yeah, you're right. MTV style. It looks like a music video.
It looks like Los Angeles.
It's the sense of place that the movie has and geography. I had a sense of where everything was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like it's all, even though it's filmed, actually, most of it's filmed further out in the suburbs than I imagined it being. The fact that they can walk to Hollywood Boulevard from their high school kind of places me in a certain mindset of where their school must be and where the houses are. And you kind of have a sense of where their world is, like how their world works, and it all feels very true.
Yeah, there were a lot of really cool locations. The high school, I really liked the there's always so many views. Like even Nancy's trailer has a view.
Yeah.
It's like everywhere is beautiful. So I think that this movie, where it had problems with the story and the writing, it excelled visually. Yeah,
and everything has such a sense of place. I think we talked about this probably in our Constantine episode, the occult Los Angeles. They do a really good job with that. Like the Virgin Mary iconography is everywhere, and that's helped by the fact that she goes to a Catholic school, but also in the magic shop, the Virgin Mary is there. Because you have this, brujeria. You have this Mexican magic that sort of the iconography of Catholicism is overlaid over the top of it.
Yeah.
But the older, like, pagan deities are all represented by the Catholic icons. So the Virgin Mary represents, the mother in the witchcraft iconography.
Yeah, you would think that if you were going to be a witch, you'd want to get away from that.
No, that is how they were able to continue their practice under Catholic rule.
Yeah, they're just like, revering the mother.
Yeah, and the same, you see that in Mexico. You see that also in the Caribbean with hoodoo and voodoo practices. They also kind of attach their deities to the Catholic iconography. It was a way they preserved their tradition, their folk traditions.
Yeah, it was really cool. I thought that the special effects went harder than I thought. Like when I was, start watching this movie and I'm seeing, various things. I expect some magical effects to happen.
Yeah,
but this goes hard.
It does.
Lots of effects.
And a nice mixture of traditional practical effects and digital effects that are done well. Like the light as a feather, stiff as a board is old school practical where she's just like on like a pedestal essentially that's lifted up. But it's very, very effective. But then when the girls are flying both in their sort of Salem's Lot in through the window flight that do.
That was really cool Salem's Lot homage.
Yeah. This is weird, right? The last episode was The Mummy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
with a fake god.
Right. Also with a made-up god. The Mummy, Salem's Lot referenced The Mummy, and then The Craft references Salem's Lot. So there's this connectivity between the multiple decades of horror movies.
Well, all of these horror movie nerds are just homaging each other all the time.
Constantly, yeah. Going back to the silent movies.
But I mean, that Salem's Lot, like the flying in
through the window,
it's really cool.
Yeah. That is they
have a scene like that in
lasting images of that movie for sure.
Yeah, I mean they have one of those scenes like in Interview with the Vampire, right? With Lestat, I'm pretty sure.
Does he ever fly?
Oh yeah, he definitely flies.
Okay, I'll trust you on that. I mean, it's been I haven't watched it since we watched it for this podcast.
It's a good one.
Yes, it is a good one. And I still need to watch the TV show.
Yeah, that's a discussion for another time.
Okay. Yeah, so all this stuff, the costume design, very good. It's very good. I like everything about the way the girls evolve over the course of the movie. Mm-hmm. Rachel, that's her name? Rachel True, who plays Rochelle?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't sound right. No, it is Rachel True. Yeah, Rachel True is saying how the more power they have, the shorter their skirts get. And so, like, you do sort of see them become more confident and start dressing showier. Like, when we start out, Nancy has, like, a single rosary that she's wearing as a necklace. And then by the end of the movie, it's dog collar, it's candy beads, it is a bunch more beaded necklaces and the rosary, and it's just like they just get more and more accoutrements as they go along.
More bling is more better. Like I generally like accessorizing.
Yeah, and they all kind of do that, except for maybe Sarah, who never indulges as much as the other girl. She's always a bit more restrained.
Low key, Sarah's the lame one.
Is she the lame?
She's the lame one. She's the one you wouldn't want to hang out with.
I don't want to judge these girls.
They're characters, they're not people. We can judge them.
I know, but it just feels icky to sort of like...
Okay, from your teenage self...
It's Bonnie's the lame one.
Age appropriate.
Bonnie is the lame one.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she starts off just very self-conscious, but it turns out she's actually just shy and actually is kind of cool.
I don't think she ever gets cool.
She doesn't get...
She gets hot, but I don't think she ever gets cool.
She gets outgoing and she's having fun. It
takes more than being outgoing and fun.
Sarah is never fun. She's just annoying the whole time.
Yeah.
But we can all agree that Nancy is the one you want to hang out with.
Nancy is the coolest. I have been not really in love, but quote unquote in love with Fairuza Balk since I was like 9 years old.
Yeah, she's the standout from this.
She's the only reason that I had watched this movie in 1996. I guarantee it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Nancy is the cool one. So much so, Nancy tries to kill Sarah, and I'm like, I don't think Nancy deserved any of this. I'm still rooting for her, despite the fact that she goes full evil.
I was rooting for her while she was trying to kill Nancy or for Sarah. I was like, yeah, just let her have it. Just come on. I'm on Team Vampire. She basically was like an evil warlock. She was just a total badass. I was all for it.
Yeah. I'm for helping Nancy. I think what Sarah does, binding Nancy from harming herself.
And taking her magic away.
She binds her from harming herself or others. That's not even actually taking her magic away.
That's true.
It just keeps her from using it in a harmful way, which is what she did to all of them, right? Mm-hmm. So if any one of them was repentant at all, they would have access to their powers.
So I mean,
again.
Just devil's advocate. You think Bonnie's the lamest one, but she actually never hurt anyone with her magic.
No, that's true, but I just find her. I just think she's the boring one. She's just the one I least want to hang out with of the three girls.
All right. I mean, yeah, she's number 3, maybe.
I don't support this. I don't support ranking girls.
They're characters, not people.
Yeah, it's still...
You can rank characters in order that you like them. That's okay.
Okay. Well, then it is Nancy and Sarah, and then there is a big gap.
Because we've ranked basically every Baron Frankenstein.
I just feel better ranking Frankensteins than I do feel about ranking teenage girls.
No, we're ranking witches at this point. It's all supernatural. These are spellcasters here.
All right.
We don't have to be weird about this.
Like Elphaba from Wicked. Nancy is a close second.
Oh man, what's her name in Oh man, and King Arthur, Merlin.
Oh yeah, actually, Helen Mirren.
Yeah, Helen Mirren
as Morgana.
As Morgana is number one.
She's number one over Elphaba, which is crazy because that's the Wicked Witch of the West. That's a pretty big witch, but yes, Helen Mirren over everyone.
That's the win for it. We could just stop ranking at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, yes, I'm pro celebrating witches. I'm not pro ranking teenage girls.
Yeah, so we're not ranking witches. We're choosing our favorite witches.
Okay, yes. Morgana Le Fay, way up there. Nancy, way up there. Elphaba, both the 1930s and the current one. I like them both.
Yeah. I haven't seen the modern Wicked.
Oh, you'd hate it. It's a musical.
It's just because I don't like musicals.
Yeah,
I think the book.
You would like the book a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should. Totally
it's on the list. I put it on my thing, on my wish list thing.
What other witches? Melisandre.
Oh yeah,
that's a premium witch.
She's a shadow binder. Yeah, she's a primo witch.
I guess. I mean, this is not going to surprise me. I'm a sucker for all of these evil witches. I see a witch.
Is Evil Lynn a witch? I think so.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So Evil Lynn goes on the list.
Way up there. Every one of these witches, I make excuses for. I look at all of these evil witches and I go, she's not really that bad.
I'm on Team Witch, very clearly.
Yeah, this was decided very young. I'm pro witch, and I will excuse a lot of bad behavior for witches.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So.
Okay. Do we have any more visuals to talk about? Or
no, I think we can move on to audio.
To the audio.
There's some needle drops in here.
Oh yeah, we've got a pretty decent soundtrack.
The 90s just knew how to do movie soundtracks.
Yeah, I think there is a desire to repeat The Crow. We have Graham Revell as the composer of the score, who is the composer of The Crow score, and so I'm not surprised. I like this score very much. It's very listenable. It's totally different from The Crow, which was like a very rock sort of based score. This is more South Asian Indian vibes and trip hop elements. It's more feminine than the Crow soundtrack, or the Crow score, but it is very, very listenable. I enjoy the score quite a bit. And then you have the soundtrack with Our Lady of Peace and Sponge. Love Spit Love covering The Smiths, Jewel, Juliana Hetfield, Tripping Daisies, Letters to Cleo, Susie and the Banshees, Connie Francis, Matthew Sweet, All Too Much, Portishead, Space Hog, and Elastica.
Yeah, I think really only Susie was on my list of I like this.
I like Portishead very
Portishead,
much.
I'm not a huge listener, but I won't trash on that.
The dud is Sponge. I will just go out, throw Sponge under the bus. I hate that song. It is like it's the definition of a skipper, and it is the second song on the soundtrack. You start listening to the soundtrack, and I'm just like, ugh, do I even want to persevere and listen to this? And then you get past Sponge and you get the Smiths cover, and it's like, okay, no, the rest of this is good. But I remember that name, Sponge. I don't know what their radio hit was, but Sponge sucks. I'll just go out and say that. I think this is a bad band.
I was going to hot take and say that I don't like Space Hog.
Oh, really?
And... yeah, not my thing, but I'm not going to say they suck. I'm going to just say I don't like them.
Yeah, I've always kind of liked them, but not like in the way that you buy any of their albums.
Yeah, no, but Sponge does suck, and I don't like them.
Yeah, both. Screw Sponge.
That's like a J.D. Vance move. Like,
screw Sponge. They're not called couch.
Well, I mean, that's the inside of a couch. It's like
made
Sponge.
Of sponge. You're not. I mean, like that is not true, but it is close enough to be valid. It's foam rubber. It's latex. It's like a sponge.
Yeah, it's spongy.
Yeah, but yeah. It's very needle droppy, like you said earlier. It's very MTV. I do think that cover of How Soon Is Now led to that song coming back onto the radio. I remember hearing the Smiths version start getting played on alternative radio after this movie came out.
Yeah, I've never been a huge Smiths fan, but they have a few songs that are just
classic,
really good.
Yeah, and that, of course, that mirrors the Nine Inch Nails Joy Division cover from the Crow soundtrack.
Yeah,
like it feels like they're trying to do that again. I don't think it is as good as the Crow soundtrack.
The Crow soundtrack is one of the all-time soundtracks. Yeah, it's so good.
But this is good. Like,
I think this one isn't even quite as good as like Spawn.
Oh, Spawn has some good tracks on it. Yeah. So speaking of the trip hop and stuff like that, like Portishead was you got Sneaker Pimps on the Spawn track.
Spawn was a good one.
Yeah, that is a pretty good. That's a pretty solid soundtrack. That's a year or two after this, right?
It's similar.
There was good soundtracks in the 90s. The Tank Girl soundtrack. I think to this
bands
day,
wanted to be on soundtracks because like it was a cool way to get exposure and all of that, and there was no streaming, so it was there's no way to get your name out there.
And these cover songs represented a lot of royalties for the bands that they're covering them.
Yeah,
the Alan Vega from Suicide told Henry Rollins that he made more money from the Rollins band covering Ghost Rider on the Crow soundtrack than any of like Suicide's releases.
Nice.
So
good for him.
Yeah. So it's like these covers, like that Smiths cover probably made a lot of checks for Morrissey and Johnny Marr, this really paid well and gave these artists a chance to kind of pay tribute to their influences. I will say something that bothers me is the Portishead song Scorn, which love that song. That they put it in the Skeet sexual assault Sarah scene. That's a crime against humanity. That's like to put like the sexiest song from your score into one of the worst sequences in the movie. I'm just like, what are you doing here? Now when I hear this song, I'm gonna think of Skeet Ulrich trying to get between Sarah's legs. I don't want this image in my head. I don't want it in the movie.
Yeah.
Why are you tying it to this song? You should put Sponge there. Is what you should have done. You should have put the Sponge song there, and I would have been like, "That I'll just go and
this
have
is
this."
Just a horrible moment on all ends,
and I'll just have it snipped out the memory. I'll Eternal Sunshine that. I'll say, just take it out. I don't want Sponge, and I don't want Skeet the rapist. Take them both. Excise this from my memory.
Oh man, poor Skeet.
Poor Skeet. He went on to have a pretty good
Yeah,
career.
he did.
This didn't hold him back. I haven't mentioned let's see, we're talking where are they at here? Supervising sound editor was Gregory King, and sound effects designer was Jan Depulich. Well done. I mean, I don't have a lot of thoughts on the sound design, but I think it's well done.
The storm felt stormy. It all did well.
That is where my head goes when I think of sound design in this movie. I think of the storm on the beach, and I think it is really well executed.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to move on to performances?
Oh, let's do it. We've been knocking around these since the start.
So we got Robin Tunney, or is it
Tooney?
Tooney as Sarah Bailey, probably the most boring witch.
I don't agree. I like Robin Tooney or Tunney, which I don't know which one it actually is.
I mean, there's two ends, so I'm thinking Tunney, but whatever.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, probably. Correct us, cultists, whichever one it is.
Or Robin, if you're listening.
Oh, that would be great, because I actually think you're great, and I think you're the second best.
No shame on the writing, no shame on the performance, just shame on the writing.
On the writing. I think Sarah is a very good witch.
She's a good witch, just not an interesting witch.
Not an interesting witch. You're thinking of Bonnie. And so, fun fact, she shaved her head for Empire Records, another iconic role for this actress, and so she's wearing a wig all through this movie.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's another one of those weird parallels between this movie and Ginger Snaps, which I haven't mentioned, but Ginger Snaps feels very influenced by this movie.
Yeah, it's got like, like adolescent girl rage.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's definitely.
And in that movie, you had the same thing where the girl shaved her head and had to wear a wig through the whole movie.
Yeah.
So just a weird parallel. But I like the performance of Sarah. She is a little bit of a stick in the mud. She's raining on everyone's parade, but she's also right. It's no, you don't get a prize for being the one that's telling your friends, stop having so much fun. This is dangerous.
Yeah.
But she is right. Don't run through red lights.
Hanging out with the lawful good person is generally not fun. Yeah. They're just annoying about everything, imperious.
But they did go too far. So Sarah's right.
She's the magic police now.
She's the magic police. Well, she's a true witch, and her mother was a witch. And
she was burned alive.
Yeah, just like the Diamond Head song.
Yeah, exactly.
You cannot say mother was a witch without she was burned alive coming right after.
It's not possible. I can't even hear it and not think that and want to say it.
It is. I had the same. When the lady at the witch store says that to her, your mother was a witch. I was like, she was burned alive. Like
I said the same thing.
That's just what I think when I hear that. So Sarah had it hard. Her mother was burned alive.
Raised by a single dad
who is very absent.
He's trying. It's hard to earn a living and raise a teenage girl.
And a stepmom that you never see. They get off the plane and then you never see her.
Yeah, that character basically didn't exist.
Just gone. Because at some point, like midway through the movie, I was like, oh, when they start talking about her dead mother, I was like, wait, she had a mom, right? I remember seeing her mom at the beginning of the movie. It's like, that's her stepmom. And she just fucked off. As soon as they got to LA, she has been out somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, this character was meant to be, she's Earth. She's the grounded one. She's the moral center. That's just boring.
Okay.
But
she's also the one with the most natural power, though.
Yeah, that's true.
She can drill her pencil into the desk, change her hair color at will.
Oh, that's true.
Pretty cool. That's not something a boring person could do.
The performance is good. I just think the character is a little meh. Yeah.
You know what? The truth is, I like her from Empire Records, where she's the punk rock girl with the bald head. And I transfer a lot of my affection for that character to this one, as though they are the same character. Just like I do with Fairuza Balk as Nancy, where she's Vicky Valancourt from The Waterboy.
Yeah.
And I like both those characters, too.
Yeah, I think Nancy is the coolest witch. She's also... The performance is, I would say, singular in this cast.
Yes.
It is the most... I wouldn't say it's the most memorable. It's very, very strong. I highly enjoyed the character. She plays a very convincing evil witch. She's a villain, but an understandable villain because she's been hurt and abused her life, and you kind of understand it. And I thought it was really awesome.
I think she is the strongest performer out of any of them.
Yeah,
and
she was also given the most to work with.
That's true, and that obviously helps her case. But she has the most, even though she's also the most over the top performance. Mm-hmm. She also has the most subtle moments out of anyone, like the most just sort of face acting without dialogue.
Yeah,
like there's the scene very early on where they're walking to the magic shop for the first time, and she sees Sarah's scars on her wrist for where she slashed her wrists. And she notices it and mentions something offhand, kind of before she's thought it through. And Bonnie is like, oh, you did it the right way. And she's very sort of cavalier about it. And you just kind of watch the emotions go over Nancy's face, where she has like this sort of regret and empathy, and then play it off, and she goes, oh, cool, punk rock. And she she sort of spins it and sort of reestablishes herself as the cool one. But you watch this whole like a wave of emotions pass over her, and that's acting. Like, that's very high level acting. And I won't say she's the only person in this movie that gets to do any of that, but it's pretty close.
She's easily the MVP in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. She's on the t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like, I looked at Fruza Balk's Instagram, and she sells t-shirts with Nancy's maniacal face on it, and then the "We are the power" quote on the back of the shirt.
That's a pretty cool shirt.
And it's like, that is the iconic image of this movie, is her maniacal face.
Yeah.
So yes, Fruza Balk MVP for sure.
Then we got Neve Campbell, who was Bonnie Harper, and if she had more to work with, would have been really much cooler. But also, not an evil witch.
Not an evil witch. Not an evil witch. Just doesn't want to be covered in horrific burns.
How vain.
Bonnie gets done dirty. She does get to have Hot Girl Summer and show up. She doesn't even... the funny thing is, like, she doesn't even show up, like, in a spaghetti strap top or anything. She just comes in like, a white t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah.
Like, it's still very, like, fairly... it might get you a talking to from the nuns at the Catholic school, but still pretty modest, ultimately.
Absolutely. If you saw a girl wearing that at... anywhere in public, you'd be like,
where is a teenage girl?
Well, you would just be like, nothing. You wouldn't think anything because it's not remarkable. It would just be ignorable.
I thought, these girls violate the dress code of their school an awful lot, is sort of is what I thought. It's like, this Catholic school is pretty loose, as Catholic schools go. And it's, so Neve Campbell, originally, what's her name? Jan Brady was, Marsha Brady was supposed to play that role, and then they gave it to Neve when she auditioned, and that ended up being a good choice ultimately. I bet because she became a movie star, they probably wished that they'd given her Sarah's role.
Probably
because she would be a good above the title name to put on it. But she was not a movie star yet when this movie came out.
Yeah, the only thing, and it's not the actress's fault at all, but I just feel like the character became one-note vain after she got healed from the magic. She just becomes kind of a boring... She just becomes one note. She's no longer kind of the, I don't know, like shy, sort of insecure character who's thoughtful and trying to be the nice one. She just becomes this sort of self-centered, vain person, and maybe that's how it would go. But
it's relatable, I think, for a teenager.
Yeah. If you think of these kids as teenagers, then for sure.
Yeah. And rank them accordingly.
Yeah. Except for we know all of these witches are both not real and acted by adults.
Yeah. True. That's true. And Rachel True is the next one.
True.
As Rochelle Zimmerman.
The elder witch.
The elder witch, because she's the oldest actress.
She's in her late 20s when they made this.
Yeah, I guess her and Neve Campbell really hit it off, became IRL close friends, and were always hanging out with each other. And they do have the two of them have a really great chemistry with each other on screen.
Yeah, I thought that this character was pretty cool. I thought that the acting was really good. I thought that the sort of her subplot with the bully was very underdeveloped and one note. Like, so we've all lived a life where you've probably seen a bully here and there. They don't normally just like for zero, like it's not normally just a like I randomly select you and you're my bully. There's usually
it's not random. It's racially motivated.
Yeah, there's a story there, and in this there was nothing.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that racism in any way like is complex, but the story could have been more interesting. It was very like, she's a racist, you should hate her. Very boring.
Yeah, and we could say this about the four girls' backstories. They are completely one-dimensional.
Yeah, these are underdeveloped characters.
Sarah is depressed because she doesn't know her mom. Her mom died in childbirth.
She was burned alive.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, and then Bonnie literally was burned alive.
Yeah.
And feels self-conscious about it, understandably. Rochelle is the only black girl in an affluent Los Angeles high school somehow, and is bullied for it. And then, and Nancy is very poor.
But I would also say that for Rochelle, that's not a story. You're the only black person. That's not a story. That's part of who you are. But she doesn't actually have a story other than her race.
Oh yeah, she's not given.
That is underserved.
The story would be like, why do you go to this school?
Yeah.
Like, how did you come to be here? What has driven you to be a high diver? That's not like a sport that you just happen into.
I mean, and it's against stereotypes. So it's why? Talk about this interesting person. We could know more.
Yeah.
But no, we get nothing. She has no story.
Yeah. No, not even the developed characters get stories.
Yeah.
Sarah and Nancy barely get stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sarah and Nancy are definitely more developed, but their stories are also very simplistic.
Oh, completely. And speaking of simple, Skeet.
The one-note date rapist.
Skeet Ulrich as Chris Hooker. Skeet's fine. I like Skeet.
Yeah,
I
nothing
trust
wrong with this
as
guy.
an actor. Like I have come to expect a certain level of performance from him, and he always delivers. Chris Hooker as a character bothers me very much because he tries to rape Sarah, and this was a love spell. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and the logic behind that choice is so twisted to me that this love spell turns to that's how he, the stuff where he's like outside her window pining after her, that feels very love spell. Him tackling her to the ground and trying to assault her, that's not how this spell should manifest.
Yeah, it did feel really weird because they were trying to, show the opposite of the slut shaming and whatnot that he was doing. But ultimately, they just made him a date rapist, which isn't really the opposite of that whole mentality. I definitely think it would have been a more interesting story if they leaned in harder on him being obsessed to the point of self-harm or neglect. Like, he's not sleeping. He's sleeping in the hedge by her place. He's not eating. Right. He can't live without her.
Which would be the extreme form of he's in love with her, right?
Yeah, like the storybook version.
Yeah, where he's hurting him. It's causing harm to himself.
Yes.
Because he's so in love with her, and then she feels bad. Whereas the way it is in this is he tries to assault her, and she feels bad.
That's so weird.
She feels like she did something to him when he did that. And then the whole love triangle between Nancy, Sarah, and Skeet is very weird. Although parts of that ring very high school true
Absolutely.
To me. That she's that Nancy sort of hates him, but also still wants his attention does ring very teenage true to me. But yeah, this just icky. That part of this whole thing is icky to me.
Yep. Weird. That's the main characters in the whole movie. There's some side characters.
Yeah, you got Christine Taylor, Marsha Brady as Laura Lizzie. She is a pretty blonde racist that her hair falls out. Yeah,
and you got Assumpta Serna as Lirio, the occult shop owner. Pretty good.
I love that lady.
Yeah, I'd go to her shop.
She doesn't have a lot to work with, and she's so tolerant of these girls coming in and shoplifting, which feels very true elder witch behavior to me.
Yeah, they need their witchy materials.
Yeah, she's just I was one of these girls, and so I'm going to give them a lot of rope here and just sort of let them think that they're getting one over on me. And when they get serious, they'll come here and I'll show them the back room.
Yeah.
And so very cool elder witch. And I did enjoy that performance.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool pretty cool character. So I had some casting notes that I thought were interesting.
Okay.
There were evidently 85 actresses screen tested for these 4 main roles, including Angelina Jolie, Scarlett Johansson, and Alicia Silverstone. Names you probably know from, and of course many others. It would have been a really different movie with those gals.
So you can imagine very easily.
Angelina Jolie is Nancy.
Obviously Nancy.
Yes.
Yeah. ScarJo is probably
Sarah
or Bonnie.
Could be
one or the other. I'm thinking and Alicia Silverstone as Rochelle probably, although. Because the character,
or Bonnie.
The character is not black in the screenplay. Yeah, that's just something colorblind casting.
And they changed the racist plot thing after the casting.
Right, exactly. I don't see any of those girls as Sarah though.
I definitely think Scarlett Johansson could have
done Sarah. Yeah.
She's pretty good.
Yeah, so you get your Angelina Jolie from Foxfire and Scarlett Johansson from Ghost World. And Alicia Silverstone from Clueless. That all tracks. Like it's pretty easy to imagine those girls as these girls.
Yeah,
but I think these are the right girls. I don't think that those girls would have been better.
Yeah, no. And Rachel True and Fairuza Balk were the first actresses cast. Everyone else was cast around them to make the four witches feel right.
Yeah, so they all have chemistry with each other.
Yeah, and originally Robin Tunney was cast for Bonnie, but then they changed her to Sarah after her casting. So I think that's an interesting thing because she could have done a Bonnie. That would have been fine. So yeah, there's a lot of like fun little things out there for this, but and notably Fairuza Balk was practicing Wicca at the time when this movie was being made. Yeah,
I guess the visual effects artist guy, had talked about she ended up buying the witchcraft store that is in the movie as a set, but there was a store called Panpipes, I guess, kind of in the area, and she ended up becoming a co-owner of that shop. And,
that's cool.
Yeah, and I think she's still a witchy lady. If you follow her on Instagram, she makes crystal jewelry and is very much like a middle-aged witch lady.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's all I got for casting and performances.
Why don't we get into our personal highlights?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go first. What's your personal highlight?
I think the beach invocation, that has to be it. They're all dressed in black. They're doing this midnight ritual around the bonfire, even though they're calling to a fake god. It's still really cool, and there's a storm, and I just thought that whole scene, that was just that was kind of the climax of the movie for me. Like, that was the coolest moment.
In a lot of ways, that is the climax of the movie. I agree with that. So they had a lot of problems doing that scene. Mm-hmm. The lady, Pat, what's her last name? Pat. What's our witch lady? Pat Devin. She warned them that beach does not like pagan rituals, is what she said. And I think she means the location and not the owners of the beach. And they had a lot of weather problems and with the water coming in.
Yeah, the waves would come up really fast and interrupt the scene.
But I think that all kind of leads to the tension of the scene, or lends to the tension of the scene, and makes it more effective.
Yeah, the Fairuza Balk walking on water and all of that stuff. It's just, and the dead sharks. That's just like super cool.
The dead sharks is very evocative. I did I worried about what happened to the snake. I don't, because what did they have? The butterflies and the bird. I mean, I guess the bird probably just flew away when his cage exploded. But yeah, I'm sure the snake was fine.
It's a movie snake.
It was a real snake.
But it's a professional actor. It probably has a stunt snake.
Yes, he knows his business, and he was fine. We're not. This is not Friday the 13th. No one is killing the snake to shock everyone.
Yeah. So, what about you? What was your personal highlight?
I'm going to choose another invocation scene, and it's the one at the oak tree in Simi Valley.
Oh, I really like that one.
To me, it's like it's very low key. It's not a. It's
with the dagger and the invocation,
and there is digital effects in it because the butterflies are CGI, but they're really well done. And it is when the girls are the most together, and I'm a softie, and I like the girls when they all like each other, right?
Aww.
And so I like them taking the bus trip out there to Simi Valley, and the iconic. You girls watch out for those weirdos, and we are the weirdos, mister. Like, they're on the way up at this point.
Yeah.
And the movie is joyous at this point. Like, we are celebrating their sisterhood with each other and them finding their power. And I just think the ritual scene it feels very authentic and cool.
Yeah.
And, I like the camaraderie they show there, and so to me that is the highlight of the movie. And then ultimately it leads to the very satisfying sort of like montage of everyone getting their wishes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of Bonnie's skin healing and Marsha Brady's hair falling out and Nancy giving her mom's boyfriend a heart attack.
Hell yeah.
And all that stuff. Rules. Like I really like the girls winning like that. So to me, that's my personal highlight. What worked for you?
I think that the four performers as the witches, they were all great. I thought that specifically Fairuza Balk was the best and it was a highlight. So that really worked. That they had a really great cast for this movie. I think when used well, like the butterflies in the invocation and all that stuff, the special effects are so good.
Yeah.
I think that there are moments in the movie where the effects are just absolutely excellent. And I just think the overall look of the movie, the way they shot it, the places they shot it, it just has a timeless. It has a timeless feeling, and it just continues to look good. It's 30 years old. The movie looks great.
Yeah, it's one of those where you show this to a kid now, and
they're like, "Where are their cell phones?"
Yeah,
that's it.
A kid now thinks these girls are cool, though. That was my point.
Yeah.
Like it isn't like they look weird. It's like, oh, those girls are cool.
Absolutely, yeah. Everything just looks timeless. It doesn't look off. Yeah, so that's what worked for me. How about you?
So I mentioned this earlier. I love occult, supernatural Los Angeles as a setting, and I think this movie does it really well. Maybe not Constantine good, but it's right there next to Constantine in the Crow City of Angels for doing that vibe, and I like it. Big time nostalgia for me. This takes me back to a very particular time, and it feels true when you're watching it. It doesn't feel like, oh, they didn't get this element right. No one really did their hair like that, or you're not having any of those feelings when you're watching this.
Yeah, no.
It just feels like the time period, and it feels appropriate. And 30 years on, it makes me feel very nostalgic. And then I think the girls, particularly Fairuza Balk, and I also say Robin Tunney, although you think she's the boring one. I think
she's the stick in the mud.
The girls are iconic. I think they give really strong performances and are ultimately the reason why this movie has become a Halloween classic that people watch every year in October. So yeah, just iconic performances from the girls. What didn't work for you?
So the opposite side of the well-placed, well-done special effects are sort of, it the movie lost the psychological kind of character interiority and just went straight for effects.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that felt weird. That's okay. That's crazy. You know, like there were so many moments where I was just like taken out of it. I was no longer thinking this was about like some witches, these teenagers and their conflict. It was just like, it just felt like the effects took over the plot.
The effects are driving it. Like when Sarah's running around the house with all of the various creatures coming out of the drain and out of the ceiling and everything.
That was just not needed. It didn't add to the movie.
Yeah.
I thought that there were a couple of tropes that I thought were tired. The good witch, bad witch trope, you know, all the way back to Wizard of Oz. Mm-hmm. That was just a boring trope, not interesting to me. I also think that the choice to make it somewhat sexualized Catholic schoolgirl that's for the male gaze. That doesn't really serve much in the story. Not to say that you can't have movies be sexy or whatever, but ultimately I think that it was tired. It didn't feel authentic to me in a story way. And so I thought that was I don't know, that was bad. And ultimately I think that there's a feminist message in this movie, and it gets buried by bullshit.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Similar things. All of these things are things that I've mentioned over the course of this, but I'm just going to reiterate on them. Manon drives me nuts. This thing, not that they made up a deity, but that they focused their whole witchcraft practice around a masculine deity,
as is right and good.
Yeah, it takes it into the territory for something they try so hard to be authentic about. It takes it into that sort of Hammer occult horror Christopher Lee territory where you have like a male priest that's leading all the witches.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like having them so focused on this thing. There is, in witchcraft, you have like the horned god and you have in Green Man, and there are masculine forces and archetypes involved in witchcraft, but they're never ever central to it. Like this movie makes it completely central. And that's because it's men writing it and directing it, and they have their own agenda and viewpoint. Number 2, I'm not satisfied by the resolution of the film. I wanted to see some sort of genuine contrition and growth for Bonnie and Rochelle, but like you said, they're not. Their characters are underdeveloped and make an unearned complete heel turn by the end of it, and it just. You either need to validate that earlier and plant seeds that actually these girls are shitty and they just don't have the power to be shitty at the beginning, or you need to have them have learned something by the end of the movie in order for it to be satisfying, to complete that arc.
Totally agree.
But they kind of do half an arc and stall out. And that just feels unsatisfying to me. And then finally, I mentioned this already, I don't like the whole love spell on Chris thing and the way that played out. It just feels twisted. Like it feels like bad logic, and it feels like, again, like run this by your female friends and just see, like, does this ring true? Do you bump up against any of this stuff? Get another viewpoint, because that just doesn't fit with the story you're saying. Like you said, it wants to be like a feminist sort of girl power thing, and it fails. It fails that agenda on many levels.
Yeah, it's like, so thinking about the ending thing, to your second to last point.
Yeah.
I felt really, I guess, incomplete at the end of this. Like, I didn't get any resolution. I would have like seriously, like, give me 3 more minutes and cut some of the stupid special effects stuff so that you have the 3-minute budget.
Right.
And like, so they go to her house and they're in the driveway and they're like, hey, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then rather than walking away and talking shit, and then she's like, I'm witchy. Instead, have her be like, I miss when we were friends. And then cut a little bit later, they're like at a coffee place or something, and they're like, hey guys, did you hear Nancy got out of the hospital?
Yeah.
I wonder if she'd be interested in talking to us. Yeah, let's talk to her. And then just no sound, maybe just some music, and it shows the 4 girls chatting just from a distance. And I would have been like, oh, they're friends again.
Yeah. Or you don't have to go full happy ending.
I like happy ending.
I like happy ending too. But you can do the Professor X and Magneto thing, right? Where Magneto's in the prison at the end of the X-Men, and Professor X comes to see him and they still play chess.
Yeah, like you could have had Sarah sit down next to her bed in the hospital and be like, hi, Nancy, how are you doing? And she's like, and they're like,
I hate you, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to keep coming until you're better.
Yeah, it's like, I miss our friendship or something like that.
Yeah, just something like, she's like, why are you even coming here? It's like, well, because I'm your friend.
Yeah, and then just end. I'm your friend, the end. And I'm like, okay, they're still friends. It's not like you can't have friendships break up in a harsh way when there's an attempted murder.
Yeah.
But this is a movie, and there was no conclusion here.
Yeah.
We got no closure.
Yes. Yeah. No, that is exactly the ending of this movie leaves me feeling incomplete and bad.
I want a sequel.
There is a sequel.
Oh, no.
It's called The Craft Legacy.
Okay.
And Fairuza Balk even comes back in it. I don't think as a major player, but she's in it. And it's about a whole other group of witches.
No. I want a sequel with these witches.
No, I think only Nancy comes back. But there is a sequel.
Did you see it?
No, I haven't watched it. I think it's probably awful. It's very recent. Like, it's from like the last 10 years.
Oh, they were cashing on the memes.
But like, because I watched this on Amazon, and it always like, you might also be interested in The Craft Legacy. And I was like, wait, there's another Craft? And so I watched the trailer. And I mean, maybe someday when we're desperate for content,
will we ever be that desperate
to get to The Craft Legacy? If the cultists demand it, we will look at The Craft Legacy.
If this video gets 100 likes on YouTube, we'll do the Legacy.
Yeah. I mean, it's got David Duchovny in it.
Okay.
Yeah, as the dad. And Nancy comes back. We will get some resolution on Nancy, I suppose, if we watch that.
That's true.
I'm not moved, though. But
no,
if the cultists demand it.
So what's your final thoughts?
So I never, like I said earlier, I never really loved this movie. However, it gave me a lot of nostalgic feelings watching it, regardless. And I thoroughly enjoyed the first 2 acts of the movie.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I was all set to go 4 stars. This is a classic. I was too hard on it in the past.
Yeah.
And then it kind of bungles the landing despite some iconic moments in there. And so I kind of like, it squeaks out a 3 for me. I think it's totally worth watching. It has some really great moments in it, a lot of iconic stuff. But I still don't love this movie.
Yeah, I'm with you. I for the first half of the movie, the first 2/3, I was just like, this is a 4-star movie looking for its 5, looking, what's going on, and then I was like, ugh, this is a 4-star movie looking for its 3.
Yeah,
and it landed the 3. It stuck the landing, and I was just like, well, oopsie, because it was so good in the first bit, and then they just failed this situation. They could have done so much better by the end of it. It's still a cult classic. It's still worth it for a select audience. If you're a spooky kid in any way, shape, or form, you have to have seen this.
I do. I feel like it is just like Lost Boys in that everyone's probably like they have favorite characters and favorite lines and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. But everyone's favorite character is Nancy.
Yeah, but holistically, it's not a great movie, but it has great stuff in it, and it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I like all the weird girls that this movie spawned.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I'm a big,
or the
big
ones
fan.
that inspired it.
Yeah. I'm the son of a weird girl, and I married a weird girl. So yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah. So normally this is where you tell us all the reviews.
That's true. You went for 57% Rotten Tomatoes. We got 55 on the Metacritic. We got 6.5 on IMDb.
Okay.
And a 3.0 on Letterboxd.
Okay. So
we're like right on there. We're with Letterboxd. We're good company.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is that. I think everybody kind of came to the point where it was like, this was great, then the special effects got over, and it didn't stick the landing, and it felt unsatisfying.
It is weird, because I think all those effects are good, but you're like, I don't really need to see snakes come out of another thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Because it's like the third or fourth thing cockroaches crawl out of, or whatever it is. It's like, we're just repeating ourselves. We've gone snakes, roaches, worms, and we're back to snakes, and it's like you really could have stopped. Like, you kind of went through everything.
Yeah. So I think that the legacy of this movie should be that people, young teenagers, do not sort themselves into Harry Potter houses. They choose which witch they are.
Oh, okay.
I am definitely a Nancy. So I'm House Nancy. That should be where it's at.
I don't think you. I think you're much more of a Bonnie.
No,
or maybe
Bonnie.
Or maybe you're a Rochelle because you're an athlete.
I'll take Rochelle over Bonnie.
I can see you doing high dives.
No, I do sword fighting, but it's the same thing. It's just a weirdo sport.
Yeah.
I mean, which one are you? You're not a Nancy either.
I'm not a Nancy either. No, I'm probably am a Sarah. That's why I like her so much. I would be like, you girls should be wearing seatbelts. I don't care that you have magic powers.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're probably a Sarah. I'm probably really a Rochelle.
Yeah, I go through and everyone is shoplifting at the magic store. I go and give the lady too much money when I pay for my book at the end.
Yep. That's
not that we both weren't shoplifters. I would just never steal from a local small business.
That's not a thing you do. That's ethically wrong.
Yeah. Shoplift from Walmart, that's fine. Actually, it's morally good.
Chumbawamba taught us.
Yeah, but you can't shoplift from the witch store.
No,
that lady's not. She's barely keeping herself in candles. You know? All right, let's roll the music, and we'll come back with our final segment. Before we delve into the Vault of Darkness, we ask that all initiates of the cult follow us on your favorite social media platforms at Nightshade Cult.
If you've enjoyed this content, help us grow the cult by sharing it with like-minded people and leave us a review wherever you listen.
Any dark tidings?
Nope, nothing new.
Me either. Let's roll our dice.
Let's roll it off. 20.
I got a 12. You go.
Heck
Nat
yes. 20. That's the first nat 20 for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so you like Predator, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you also like mechs, like big robots?
I know where you're going. So let's, not as much as I like Predators, but let's say for the sake of interest, I do.
You do?
I do.
Well, then you must see the new Netflix movie War Machine, because it's literally just Predator. But the Predator is an alien mecha. It's very fucking cool.
I saw the trailer, and that was exactly my thought. I was like, this is just Predator and Reacher is Arnold.
Yeah, it's got Alan Ritchson as he's a combat vet whose brother died in combat. They were both in the Army, and his brother's dream was to become a ranger.
Okay.
And so this guy, he applies to go to ranger school, and he eventually gets in, and he's just hardcore, like, to the walls, because he's doing this as like a legacy to his brother. He has it's a pretty deep backstory, and it's a believable sadness that he feels. Like, the character feels good, and despite being a hunk and a beefcake, Alan Ritchson is a pretty good dramatic actor. Like, he can deliver some lines and make you believe it. And so him and his group of ranger trainees are out on the final mission of the training school and they have to go out and blow up a compromised thing. It's all simulation, it's real explosives, real thing, but they don't have bullets because it's a training mission.
Because it's a training mission. Okay.
And so they go out there and they find a crashed vehicle, and they're supposed to blow up supposedly a crashed experimental airplane, but it's actually an alien vehicle, and it is just the Predator. So
it looks so much like the plot of Predator.
I was watching. I was just chilling, like, and our buddy Ed, who sometimes listens to this podcast, he messages me and he's like, "Hey, you liked Predator, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Then you got to watch War Machine because it's just Predator." I was like, "Is it good?" He goes, "Yep."
That's funny.
So I watched it that night, and I was like, yeah, it's like a modern Predator. It's it's all modern military gear. It's got an ensemble cast with his squad, people you start to care about, like in Predator.
And they get killed by the
Predator. People slowly but surely die, but not all of them. They don't all die.
They don't all die.
You really like it, and by the end of the movie, because of course he's the final girl of the movie. That wasn't the only one. That was one of the leading in a vanguard of these meteorites. They thought they were meteorites at first. Mm-hmm. NASA was calling meteorites. They're actually these planet invading things, and they've been landing all over the world. And so it's a full-on alien invasion. It's totally open for sequel.
Yeah.
And
it may have just spoiled the whole movie.
Well, if you've seen Predator, you know the whole movie.
Okay.
I mean, it's literally, you only learn the last part when you in the last 3 minutes. The whole movie is a slasher.
Yeah.
It's just a slasher where the slasher is a big ass mecha with lasers and missiles and stuff. It's really cool. Like, I don't know how such a simplistic concept can be so enjoyable.
Yeah.
But it was. Okay. It very much was. So if you liked The Predator, you will like this movie. There's no way you could like one and not the other. They're too similar. Okay. There's no way you could. I mean,
well, because sometimes you can say like, "Well, this is just a rehashing of Predator," and then that's a reason to chuck it.
Well, it's like an homage because it's not. It's different because so with the Predator, he is a man-like thing,
right?
And he can be fought.
Yeah.
In this thing, the War Machine, they just call it the Machine, it's a true slasher. He's like Jason or
the Terminator
or the Terminator or Michael Myers. You can't kill it.
Right.
There's not a way. And of course, they find a way to use like a landslide and bombs and shit to do crazy shit. But ultimately, it doesn't have the "I'm fighting you" as much as the "I'm surviving you." It's got more slasher vibes even than the Predator does. But if you like that military ensemble, running away and danger slasher vibes, it's a great movie. I definitely, it's probably a 4-star film.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I was curious about it from watching the trailer, and it was clear that it was a Predator riff.
Yeah, it's total homage. But it's a love letter.
But I have been seeing people like on social media saying similar things to you, that this movie is a lot of fun and everything, and so.
It's like Alan Ritchson wrote a love letter to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So is Alan Ritchson the new Schwarzenegger?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's displacing Dwayne Johnson, who previously was the new Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Kind of. I think that Ritchson does action movies better, but The Rock does comedy better.
Okay.
But really, because I'm a thinking man, I like Dave Bautista better than both.
Well, that's true. Have you watched what's the Dave Bautista, The Wrecking Crew?
No, I haven't.
With Bautista and Momoa?
No. Is that any good?
Yeah, but I mean, yes, no. It is very enjoyable and totally worth watching, but it's highly stupid. But but it is
okay. That never stopped me.
Yeah, but it is an awesome sort of like Lethal Weapon, Odd Couple, badass buddy comedy sort of thing.
I definitely like that.
Yeah, so it's, and like the last 20 minutes of them is just them murdering bad guys in creative ways for so long. Like, it is, and so like if you're into that, like creative improvised weapons and cool kills and stuff, and it just goes on and on. Like, Lisa taps out. Like, she totally was watching that movie and in with it until it became like 20 minutes of extravagant murders at the end.
It's like that 20-minute fight with Roddy Piper.
Yeah, but it's so many more guys. Like, it's not any one guy where you're fighting them for that long. It's like you fight one guy for a minute, and then another guy, and then another guy.
I'm really excited that Dave Bautista is the Kurgan in the new Highlander, because that's cool.
Yeah,
he's gonna do great.
Yeah, I'm anticipating the Highlander movie. I think that will be.
I mean, the original is a classic,
yeah,
and this will be pretty good too.
Yeah, and so it's not my recommendation, but for a big dumb action movie, The Wrecking Crew is a pretty good time.
All right, I'll check it out. So, what are you pulling out of the vault?
So this movie, a movie that The Craft made me think of, because of a couple connections, was Oliver Stone's The Doors from 1991.
Oh, I love that one with Val Kilmer.
With Val Kilmer, tour de force performance as Val Kilmer,
and the singing is great.
Yes, he has such a good voice. Like, to this day, it is a crime. There's a soundtrack to the Doors movie that does not include the Val Kilmer versions of the songs. It's just the original Doors versions. So it's just like another Doors Greatest Hits CD.
Yeah.
Come on, vinyl release. Give us the Doors soundtrack with Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer's passed away.
This would just be to honor him.
Yes. Finally release that as an album, because that should be a long time coming. But in addition to Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison, it's also got Meg Ryan as Pamela Corson, Kyle MacLachlan as Ray Manzarek, Frank Whalley as Robbie Krieger, and Kevin Dillon as drummer John Densmore, and Kathleen Quinlan as Patricia Keenally, who is a music journalist, but she's also Wicca practitioner. So this movie, The Craft reminded me of The Doors, both for the Los Angeles setting, and then also for the witchcraft stuff, because that was really my first exposure to witchcraft at all, was the Doors movie.
Yeah.
And so watching The Craft, I was like, yeah, I mean, I have not done it yet, but The Doors was a very formative movie to me, and I feel confident if you want some more witchy LA vibes after watching The Craft, watch The Doors. It's a good time.
That movie was extremely enjoyable.
Yeah, and release the Val Kilmer version of the soundtrack.
I'm on board with that.
Okay.
We'd like to thank you for joining the Nightshade Cult.
Until we meet again, we're wishing you unpleasant dreams.